Welcome to the Leverage Show. I want to invite you to email your business questions and challenges to me at questions@levrigeshow.com, and I'll answer them on future episodes. Okay, so I like movies. I'm a big movie fan, love to go to the movies. Unfortunately, I usually have to see them at home or rent them more so than go to the theater, but I love to go and watch movies because I like the way that movies can both entertain us and at the same time they can teach us important lessons. They can help us reflect on what we're doing, and they can help us reflect on our businesses and our lives and learn different things to apply in the stuff that we're doing every single day, and sometimes from the least likely sources. So today I want to share with you what every entrepreneur can learn from the movie Straight Outta Compton. So I saw this movie the other day, and I was really impressed. I had sort of known a little bit of the backstory, but in case you're not familiar with it, the movie tells the real life story of four guys that grew up in inner city LA in Compton, and they used their talents to form a super influential rap group, a rap group that would go on to influence a lot of musicians in the years and decades to come. And they brought their lives from sort of these, crime-riddled streets and total poverty to super success, stardom, and wealth. And, it's an amazing story in its own right, but, the most important part about it maybe is the fact that it was far from a smooth and easy road. It wasn't like an overnight success or something where they had this talent and all of a sudden it just exploded and they were great. There were a lot of bumps in the road, and they learned some lessons along the way, and they failed to learn some other lessons. And there are things that are really important for all entrepreneurs, regardless of your business, regardless of your niche, regardless of your talent, or even what it is that you're trying to accomplish. They're just sort of universals that are really important to know. And so I want to share a few of those with you. The first is to believe in yourself. No matter what anybody else tells you, no matter what things are sort of stacked against you, anytime that you are trying to do something that is going to be bigger and more influential than other people, there are going to be some people in your life that just, they don't see it, whether it's out of jealousy or whether it's out of insecurity or, whatever it is, they're not going to believe that you're going to be able to do that. And so you just expect that. Just accept it, expect it. It isn't necessarily something that they're, trying to bring you down, but they just don't see the vision the way you do. And that's what makes you unique. You've got that vision. In the movie, they have this vision that they can, with their talent, be able to create records. And so many people tell them, oh, you're fools, you're crazy, you guys are never going to be anything, this is never going to work, especially with the kind of music you're making, no one's going to accept it. But they have this deep down inherent belief in themselves. And, any time that the chips are down or things become difficult, they sort of go back to that. They sort of go back to the idea that, we know we've got a voice. We know that we have something important to say, and that it's a message that everybody needs to be able to hear. And they have that deep down belief, which is what motivates them. And that's really important for any entrepreneur in any business and anything that you're trying to accomplish. The second thing is that, it's okay to take risks and to be unique. If you are setting out to do something that's never been done before, if you have a grand vision and there's something that's going to revolutionize the way things are, there are going to be a lot of people that tell you that you're crazy. They're going to tell you to play it safe. Don't do that. Don't take that risk. And they're not going to want you. They're not going to understand your propensity to do that and your appetite for that kind of risk and being unique. It's safer to be with the status quo. It is safer. It's also typically a lot less profitable and a lot less influential. Again, in the movie, they are making music that's very controversial. Some of their lyrics and some of their song ideas are things that, they get warned by the FBI, they get warned by the police, they get arrested a few times and things like that, because the things that they're doing are groundbreaking, but they're groundbreaking in ways that are scary to people, and they challenge the status quo. But in the end, they weren't afraid to take the risks and be who they are. And, there is freedom of speech in the United States. So they ultimately, were protected in terms of what they were doing. But it took some fights in order to clear that, in order to be that. Look, no matter what it is, whether you're trying to develop a cure for cancer, or whether you're trying to, revolutionize the way, food tastes, or, whatever it is, there are going to be some people that think that you're crazy. In way back in the history of the United States, when they founded the patent office, one of the people was famous for saying, "I don't know why we bother with the patent office, because everything that can already be invented already has." I mean, since then, there's been an exponentially larger number of inventions. But, that was conventional thinking. That was conventional wisdom. Thomas Edison tries to create the carbon filament for the electric light bulb, and everyone tells him you're nuts. He goes through 10,000 ways that don't work. He's filled up notebooks. They all tell him, "Oh, you're crazy, you're crazy." But, he insisted that it was the right thing to do. He continued to do it, and he took those risks, and he spent his time and his energy doing that. And sure enough, ultimately, he changes the world. So that's another really important lesson for, your business and for yourself. Other people are not going to see it, but if you do, it's okay to take risks and be unique. Third thing is to take massive action. A great vision and a great dream and all these other ideas are fantastic. But if you don't make the rubber meet the road, if you don't actually do anything, they're just ideas. And then ultimately somebody else is going to figure it out and do it. And you're going to say, "Oh, I had that idea." Because you have to not only think it and dream it, you've got to do it. You've got to get down there and you've got to roll up your sleeves and you've got to make it happen. You've got to insist on working as hard as you possibly can until you get the results that you want, because that is how things get done. And, again, in the movie, these guys are in the studio. They are working their tails off, even when they're being disrespected, even when they're being taken advantage of, even when, they're being harassed for no reason. They're in the studio. They're working until they make what they believe is going to be the best quality product that they possibly can, that really sort of demonstrates their voice and sort of, is indicative of what they want to say. The fourth thing is to surround yourself with the right people. This is a huge lesson, and this is a life lesson, it's a business lesson, and everything else all rolled into one. Now, in the movie, they make the huge mistake because they are surrounded by people and they get influenced by people that are not necessarily have their best interests in mind. People that are selfish, or people that are greedy, or people that'll take advantage of them because of how little business knowledge they have. They have great ideas, they have great talent, but they don't have a lot of business knowledge. So be very careful of who you surround yourself with. When it comes to employees, they need to be people that are, people that are willing to work hard and roll up their sleeves and get the job done. They need to be people that are trustworthy. They need to be people that buy into the vision. And it's even more so the case when you're talking about advisors, when you're talking about investors, when you're talking about anybody else who you're going to sort of bring into your circle. You need to treat that like that's your inner circle, and then it's really, really important you get the right people, because if those people are going to have your ear and give you advice, you want to make sure that the advice they're giving you is advice that's going to help you and not advice that's going to hurt you. And so surrounding yourself with the right people, both from a mentality standpoint and a skills standpoint, is crucially important in terms of being successful in business. So you want to make sure that you take the time to find the right people, and as important, you want to make sure that you have the guts to say goodbye to the wrong people. If you have negative influences, if you have people that you don't trust implicitly, those are people you cannot have inside your inner circle because they will bring you down. It's hard enough to do it as it is, but if you have people detracting from you and pulling you down at the same time, you're fighting a really big uphill battle. And then the last thing, the fifth thing, is to absolutely never give up. You know, you're going to hit a lot of bumps in the road as an entrepreneur, and these guys certainly do. I mean, every time you turn around, there's another problem. You know, you make a hit record and you think, oh, now we're set. And then, you know, the money gets stolen from them, or, you know, there's a split with this, and then, you know, the manager runs off with it, or the producer says, oh, I can't afford to pay you. They take all the money, and these other guys are sort of left, even though they created the product. You know, no matter what obstacle it comes in front of them, they get a warning from the FBI. They're getting harassed by other people. They've got, you know, other groups that are trying to bring them down. I mean, every single imaginable obstacle, but they just keep fighting. They keep pushing until they get to where they want to be. As an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. You got to just put on that hard hat, and you got to say, you know what? Nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to run through as many walls as I need to get there. Because the idea that it's easy for anybody, or that anyone you look to that's had success and it was just they woke up one day successful, it's not true. If you dig into their life story, you will find that they had to overcome a tremendous amount of things to get to where they are. Nothing worth achieving comes without a price, comes without hard work. If it did, then it wouldn't be worth achieving in the first place. So those are 5 really important lessons that every entrepreneur can learn and should learn about how to run their own business. I mean, these guys overcame incredible odds to achieve huge success. They had everything stacked against them, a lot more than most of us that are out there trying to build a business or change the world in another way, but they still made it. It takes uncommon belief, uncommon passion, uncommon focus, action, and perseverance to be a successful entrepreneur. Otherwise, everyone would do it. So you need to stay focused on what you want and keep pushing, and nothing will be able to stop you from getting there. So remember to email your questions and challenges to me at questions@levrigeshow.com so I can answer them for you on future episodes. And until next time, make it happen.